Make some noise for Aja Monet, y'all.
Hello. Hi. What up, Brooklyn, New York? How you doing? The two poems I'm about to read are poems that have never been published, and they're still works in progress. So the first poem is not titled, but here we go. This is the war my favorite poet warned me about. The one between me and me. The slow drag crawling inward, the terrible stench of lies sweeping the mouths of people, the rat pissing on cotton, the self-administered needle in the arm, zombie stares, and rubber spines. The fountain outside my window whispering of calm, the bombs dropping in my head. How many children died today for the sake of my comfort? How do I survive this inability to stop the worst acts known to mankind? It is the us of us. It is the us of it. Your silence so loud. A rocket launched in the sky. Your silence a flag, a flag. Your flag, a body bag, an ambulance wailing through a crowded street of debris. An emergency room with no electricity. Your silence is savage. A stomach growling at a rib cage. Your silence is empty, full, starving, the mouths of elders packing. The eyes of children. We can all feel it. It's deafening. Your silence has fingernails. They are bloody, a wound growing limbs, our skin crawling, crawling, crawling. With your silence, it claws at the spirit, torments the ears. In Gaza, your silence shivers the buildings. The children's eyes yell, frantic fathers carry lifeless bodies close to their chests. The mothers are all fainting, forehead to palm. Your silence detonates hearts. Your silence, a prison cell, the steel bars, the dungeons, the whip, the chain, the handcuffs, the bullets, the bombs, the daggers, the tormented grin of graves. Your silence haunts the dead. If ever we survive, if ever we survive the war of your silence, we may never know. We may never be able to hear again. Still, we can all see it. We can see through your silence. Your silence is a slow death, gnawing you from the inside, piece, every little piece by piece. This next poem, I have to say, as someone that is of the African diaspora, as people who come from African people, we know that there is no land we could possibly own. The only land we ever owned was the love shared between us, African people scattered across the globe. We know a thing or two about displacement. We know that we belong to the in-between, that we aren't fixed, our identities aren't fixed on a nation or a state or a flag. African people, we know that the only land we own is the love shared between us. This next poem is dedicated to the Congo. And my demand, my ask, my inquiry, my invitation of you all is to shout as loud from the mountaintops for the Congo as you are for Palestine, for black people all across this country. We need your solidarity because we know that a lot of our causes are deeply, deeply, deeply problematic. Internally, we have some shit to work on between each other, even as we fight for each other. So let us be radically imaginative of how solidarity doesn't mean my cause is at the expense of you, but my cause is because of you, right? So when we shout for Palestine, we can also shout for the Congo, right? We can shout for Sudan. It's not an either or. And we all could be doing better. I could be doing better. All of us could be doing better. But the Congo needs our support now more than ever. The Congo needs our support now more than ever. I want us to ask, how far does our empathy go when we do not have the footage? How far does our empathy go when we do not have the footage of the atrocities we have yet to or could never possibly imagine experiencing? The barrier of entry for empathy and outrage or compassion is deeply shaped by our relationship to language and articulation. I want to ask you, how many stories are we not concerned with because they don't speak our language? How many stories have we not been concerned with because the people don't speak our language, because they don't share the same complexion as us? How do we listen and when do we listen? This is for the Congo. Tell them about the blood. Tell them about the blood, about the blood, about the blood, the sweet red river of rage, the pulsing footsteps in a chest, the skin of a drum shaking the bruise of the blue-black truth, Rwanda missiles in the Congo, west from east to west, the stolen presidency, Rwanda government brainwashing, Paul Kagame. Tell them about Paul Kagame, how he's paying black people to come and whitewash his country. Tell them about the military regime, about oppressing the people, about Museveni, 1986, about Uganda, about the puppets, about the US allies, about 3 million children. 3 million children. Tell them to talk about the blood, the blood, the blood, the blood. Tell them to talk about the blood, the agents of the West, the migrants, the looting the land, the tentacles, the local elite, the neighboring responsibility, the corporations mining, the World Bank, the IDF, the vanishing visions, the scarcity, the strangling, the givers with everything to lose, everything to lose, us with everything to lose. Tell them about the blood, the blood, the blood, the blood, the blood, the censorship, the dank jail cell, the death machines in our palms, the death machines in our palms, the death machines in our palms, the death machines in our palms. Tell them to talk about the blood.